The story of Earth Mode Hound. If you're not familiar, let me tell you a tale. Long time ago, in a galaxy not so far away, there were rumors of Siege Hound getting an Earth Mode in a two-pack with one of the movie Dreads, or the movie Dread was like announced at the same time and they're tangentially connected somehow. It was a mess, but got people excited. And it was meant to be a Target exclusive. However, Target exclusives kind of, and Target didn't want it. So Hasbro just let the license kind of sit there until it expired, and then decided to put out an Earth Mode Hound in a 5-pack of repaints. So you got Hound, Sunstreaker, Jazz, Wheeljack, and Trailbreaker, but all with flat, not clear chests, like painted chests. And of that set, I think Jazz is the only one I'd kind of be interested in because Jazz with no clear plastic would be the best Jazz you could get. But I've basically passed up on a 5-pack because it doesn't interest me. However, the mold did show up in Legacy Evolution as Detritus. And here he is, his only toy since G1. We don't count Power Core combiners. And the original toy was a Hound repaint. Only it was a mail away, so it was even harder to get because who has the attention span to get enough things to do a mail away? But here he is, the Earth Mode Hound body in these colors, which are the classic John Byrne brown and tan. Wait, this isn't Wolverine. What the fuck am I doing in some nerd's apartment? God, what the hell was that? Yes, I know. It's not really brown. It's some kind of maroon, maybe somewhere in between maroon and brown. And I am going to say this is tan, though. It's very light, almost pink, really. Somewhere between like a pink and light brown. I don't know. But there's some gold on him and some red. The head sculpt is sort of new. You have too many weapons on you, sir. For an Autobot that wants to be human, you have too many weapons on you. So, oh, there you go. You can see it's a bit taller, a bit more open. They tried to do a thing with giving Detritus like a goatee or a beard, but it's kind of unpainted, so you can't really see it. What I do see are those bright red eyes and that kind of worried expression on his face. Like he's not quite sure which side he wants to line up with, and he's just nervously watching the battle to see who's going to pay him. Which is basically who he is. So, Detritus is a weapons dealer. It was his best way to leave the planet Junkion. Because, yes, he is in fact considered a Junkion. You know, like Wreck-Gar and all them, but, you know, this color scheme doesn't really scream Junkion to me. Like, normally it's bright red and gold and a much more loud orange. Maybe that's his way to try and distance himself from his history, is just dial back his color scheme to make it not so obvious. But what is obvious is that Autobot symbol and the Decepticon symbol in his vehicle mode. Because yes, as a weapons dealer, he will play both sides, basically figure out which one is going to win the battle and then offer weapons to them. He's kind of in the middle like that. He's not neutral because he cares which side wins, but it's mostly self-serve. Who's going to pay him more? And I want to bring back in Hound, because this body is basically Hound with a new chest. There's a little bit more nuance, like the legs, a little bit different sculpting, because you don't have siege and all that siege detail. It's a little bit lighter on detail, but it still has it. Slightly different. Feet are the same. I think besides the backpack, the arms and thighs are the same. And kind of the skeleton of this guy is broadly the same to Hound. So, articulation is the same. Do we really have to go into it? I would say watch Siege Hound, but that video feels like it's so far away. The head is on a ball joint. Not really much up and down. You get your side to side. Tiny bit of that motion. Shoulders, universal. Go all the way. With transformation joint, they can do a backwards butterfly. Got a bicep swivel. 90-degree elbow. And a wrist swivel. Waist. Hips. The whole 9 yards. Everything feels good. The knee bend still is deep. The back of him is as hollow as the Siege one. Only the backpack is slightly different. The ankles. So nothing has changed besides what makes up his chest and back. There is something different in the accessories. We'll bring those in. I'm pretty sure these are the same accessories from Generation 2 Jazz. Only in the packaging, this part was separate. Wait a second. Huh. Well, I didn't know that. And these are the same weapons that come with Hound, only in green. Good old G2 Jazz. Haven't transformed him since. I don't know what these weapons have to do with Hound. I'm used to the... Oh, wrong way. This... Is it a hologram projector? Yeah. Hound is the hologram guy. Trailbreaker is the force field guy. Getting my G1 basic character traits correct. And he can plug this into his shoulder. And you can take this gun. And is that a gold-plated 50 caliber Desert Eagle pistol arrow? Well, shut me up. Actually, don't. Stryker tried that once. It didn't go well. Chimichangas, bitches. Yeah, it happened again. How many voices are in my head? You can plug it into his hand. And it's kind of boring. Obviously, you could take a blast effect, or you can plug it in, as you just saw, into the bum end. But we're not going to do that. Give Hound back his weapons. God, this thing does not like to stay together. And you know, we still do have a vehicle, so let's get to that. Move his guns. And the transformation is exactly the same as the siege one. So we'll start by folding the inner panel of the leg out on both sides. Bring up the out, untab the shoulders, bring the chest forward so that the windshield will plug in. Bring the shoulders in, rotate, rotate. You want these parts facing forward so that they can tab in a second. And just make sure this is lined up so it looks like that. Fold the legs up and make sure they tab into the sides here. And then the arm will tab in, and hopefully nothing broke. I like to just fold the foot in for no reason other than it makes it visually, aesthetically nicer. While you're doing the other leg, plug the legs together. Or does that? No, they fit. And there, at long last, we have Hound that turns into a Jeep. Not any specific Jeep model, just a vague approximation of a Jeep. It looks cool. It's a cool alt mode. I've never seen a Jeep in these colors, because you don't really see many cars at all in this color scheme. It's amazing how much just remolding the front and adding a proper windscreen does to change the profile of the vehicle. Because if we take Hound, and I don't even feel the need to jump cut during this. Like this vehicle, the Siege version, has such a different profile. You could very easily feel like they're two completely different vehicles, which in a way they are. This is roughly supposed to be, I guess, a Cybertronian version of a Jeep. Because, you know, Siege and all that. Like, although this actually doesn't feel like a Cybertronian vehicle at all. It's been so long since I've looked at this. But yeah, that doesn't actually feel like something you'd see in space. That feels like just a different model, maybe a military vehicle. But this feels more like, I guess, a civilian vehicle, sort of. And now that I think about it, there's a Jeep that sometimes parks out the back of my building that is in the color scheme of like one of the Jeeps from Jurassic Park, like with Jurassic Park logo all over it. And that might be at least close to this color scheme. Now you can see just how much difference there is on the top side and how much of a different profile they have. Like this still has a windscreen, and like the place that is hollow that kind of feels like where the passengers would go. This doesn't feel as much of a Cybertronian mode as maybe it did when Siege kicked off. Because even with the Optimus Prime at that time, it was like a slightly spacey version of his classic truck mode, and this kind of feels similar, like a slightly different take on Hound's classic alt mode, while this is more a direct take on Hound's alt mode, with an unfortunate thigh gap there that this panel nicely covered up. But other than that, this one has less weapon ports because it doesn't have the peg in the ports here, but it still has 2 ports on the back, 1 on each side. The wheels are actually slightly different molding, but I'm sure they roll just as well. Yeah, this guy is still readily available because his wave shelf formed so hard. Him, Prime, Strong Arm, the Shadow Striker, like you can still find them on Walmart and GameStop shelves. Like even though I can't find like anything current when it comes to Legacy United, like it's all Transformers 1 stuff and like re-releases of old Siege stuff, you can still find this wave, which kind of makes me glad I didn't pick it up initially, because there was no rush to actually pick it up if it's just going to stay on shelves for months. Like, we're way past evolution at this point. If you're looking for Hound in the Earth mode, or just a slightly different, more classic take on his vehicle mode, and you don't really want the 5-pack, this is a perfectly acceptable route to go. Because he gives you that Earth mode classic Jeep Hound, but as a completely different character for your shelf. A character that didn't really get to do much in G1 and was kind of hard to get a hold of. So in that case, it's kind of worth it. I want to give a closer look at the grill with the headlights. And is that a tow cable? A winch? Are they the same thing? The part that is a Jeep does look nice. So, thanks for watching. I hope you have enjoyed, and well, I guess it's time to kill the other voices in my head. Damn you, Deadpool! Until next time, keep it weird. Bye.
Do you ever look at someone and wonder what is going on inside their head?
Gubernatorial.